So Salve got Vinland in 1955, and as we said, it becomes a library slash dorm for many years. But let's backtrack a second and think, what is Vinland, and why was it called this name? And why is it this unusual looking stone? And why does it have these funny markings in it? This is not similar to many other mansions from the 1880s and 90s. It's quite different. Well, let's backtrack. So 1882, this building went up. So this is about 10 years before Ochre Court, right? We've been in Ochre Court, but this one precedes it by about a decade. And you can see up in the corner, hopefully, it says AD 1882, right? So 1882. Well, we said Mrs. Twombly's the one who, it's her family that donates Vinland to Salve. Mrs. Twombly was a member of the Vanderbilt family, but the person who built it was Catherine Lorillard Wolfe. We talked about Catherine Lorillard Wolfe when we were over in Turo Park looking at that old stone mill or Viking tower. We said she used to rent there and probably walked around that old ruin many times. Well, in the early 1880s, she decides to buy a piece of land, build her own house rather than rent in downtown Newport. She had really been convinced that was a Viking ruin, and so she wanted to build Vinland, or Viking land. And so this building was meant to be a Nordic style construction, this red sandstone, and then there's all sorts of details carved into the exterior, which are meant to look sort of Nordic in design. And we'll go through this. This is what's called the porte cochere, where you would have left your carriage so people wouldn't get wet if it was raining. We're going to go through the porte cochere and look on the other side, and we're going to see some other symbols that are meant to look sort of Scandinavian, Nordic. So we'll come over here. So if you see this square here, again, this is meant to look like a kind of a Nordic design, and then this window as well. And then if we can go a little further, one of the things I really like about McAuley Hall / Vinland are all the little details that are carved in different places. So I want to show you a bird here on one end of the building. I don't know if you'll be able to see a bird here. That's an owl, I think, carved in there. So there's all sorts of little details, little faces in different places, all kinds of fun little carvings, which, at least for me, it took me a while to even notice them. But I like that owl there looking down on us, that wise old owl. Just a couple other details about Catherine Lorillard Wolfe. So she was very interested in the Viking story for Newport, and she built Vinland here right on the cliff walk, thinking this might have been where the Vikings would have landed, right? Miss Wolfe was not married. She was in her 50s, and she decided to build this as a guest house for her friends and family to be visiting. So one thing we want to know her for is her interest in the Vikings. The other thing we want to know her for is her interest in art. Miss Wolfe was a great collector of art, and one of the remnants of her art collection is this funny structure here. This urn, if we can find on one side of it, it says Rome on it. So it's from ancient Rome. Maybe we can find the... Yeah. So on this side it says Roma, right? This is this ancient urn, we think probably 2,000 years old. There were two of them. So there's this one, and then there's another one that's in a church down in New York City. But so she brought this back and put this in front of Vinland. Inside Vinland, Miss Wolf put French paintings. Every room was full of French paintings. She built this house in 1882. As it turns out, she only lives 5 years. So just like Mr. Golette, he only lives 3 years after Ochre Court went up. She only lives 5 years. So, and this was just a summer place, so presumably she didn't really have that much chance to enjoy it either. When she died, she donated her art collection to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, which was just getting going in New York City. She's one of the major donors, and there's still a Catherine Lorillard Wolfe room in the Metropolitan Museum of Art to this day. So she dies in 1887, and then the property is going to get into the Vanderbilt family, and that they'll have it until 1955 when it gets turned over to Salve.